The next one is on page 19, and I will say this, number 3 under Rule 3.01, currently it reads invocation. The Democratic Caucus spoke about it, and their proposed amendment to that was invocation or moment of reflection. And the Republican caucus came with the change this morning to remove the or moment of reflection. So the question is whether or not that section's going to be kept in.
What's the will of the group?
I just want to point out what was pointed out at our caucus. Somebody went back and looked at the last, I believe it was 12 or 13 meetings, and they pointed out that 7 of the invocations were done by members of the board. And based on our prior discussion about how that looks to the public and how that could potentially expose us, it was mentioned that if a board member could not get a pastor, a imam, whatever, to come in and do an invocation, or somebody canceled at the last minute, rather than have a board member do it, we thought it would be beneficial that we just put in the or moment of reflection so that we could do that in place of allowing a board member to give an invocation. The issue was having a board member do it.
And I could speak to that just a little bit, if you invite me to. We want to avoid the potential of any bias. So in that sense, having a board member give the invocation and then possibly taking a vote on something later, and maybe one of the audience members did not participate in the invocation, we want to make sure that the public understands that we can have a moment of silence or an invocation, and if anyone wants to bring in someone of another faith, great. And if that person cannot make it, though, we would then just have a moment of silence instead of a board member.
Denise?
And that way we don't have any liability of somebody saying the reason I didn't get what I wanted is because you did this.
Well, the first person I would look at, as far as liability goes, it would be the Mary. But before I ask Mary about liability, I think it should be taken out. Look, historically and traditionally, we've had invocation, we've had a prayer. You can call it what you want. Quite frankly, and this gets, I guess, to be a little bit more about I don't want to say emotional side, or how I think people can interpret this. My interpretation is to eliminate prayer. Now, that's my interpretation. I'm not going to debate it or argue with anybody. I'm just telling you how I interpret it. I think that there's nothing wrong with a board member doing the invocation. I don't see where it creates any liability. But any of us can do it. I don't care if you want to go through every single county board member, just have a list and say you're next if you want to do it. That certainly doesn't show any bias. It doesn't mean you have to get something religious issues. My thing would always be, God, let us do the right thing. Let me do the right thing, please. I think it sends a different kind of message. I think it's, quite frankly, sends out a message of, maybe I'm taking a little over the top of anti-religious, anti-God, whatever you want to put it. If you're a non-believer, be a non-believer. But I think that having I would call it a prayer to, ask for guidance for us to all do the right thing and have the strength to have the right thing is a good thing. So I would not be supportive of the amendment or the change.
Well, I can say that to me, I'll be praying regardless, but for Mary, is there, and this, what comes to my mind is there's a reason why in the House or whatever, they have a chaplain, which is very separate from the members. But I would rather have state's attorney speak to that issue.
So-
There is one.
As you've indicated, there is nothing wrong with having an invocation. The United States Supreme Court has ruled on that and said legislative bodies may have an invocation, may have a moment of prayer. There is a federal decision out of Michigan where there was a local legislative body where only the members of that local legislative body gave the invocation. And the decision, and I understand the reasoning behind it, was that then gave the appearance that it was the board that was presenting the prayer. It was their views, and there were some additional comments about, requiring the public to, participate, and it just went over the top. That being said, I don't think the occasional invocation given by a county board member when we don't have anyone else crosses that line. I am a little concerned about the number of times where we have had the occasion to do that in the last year, because it is getting to the point where more than half the time that has happened. That being said, I think that if the county board wishes, they can attempt to do some other outreach to make sure that all of the faiths understand that they are welcome to give the invitation and, would be allowed to do so. We certainly have the opportunities available. So, how you want to express that, I don't know that you need to put in there moment of silence in your rules. If at some point we've reached a point where Mr. Brooks or Ms. Fritz have given the invitation several times and we would just, prefer to do a moment of silence instead, we can do that. There's nothing requiring, if you don't have someone to do it, you don't have someone to do it.
Denise?
Or you could even ask a member of the public to do it.
Yes,
So they don't have to be a pastor or a minister.
Or maybe you could help us find a permit. Maybe we could find a,
Well, the pay is fine anyway, it doesn't matter.
maybe we could find the same person to couple. That's the whole idea.
And I,
Start a check.
right, and I know that in the past, we have reached out to board members, can you bring somebody? And the issue, what typically comes up is that for many people, because you're coming here, you're here like 10 minutes or so and then go back. For some people, the idea of driving here, doing that, and then going back is overwhelming. Steve, are you adding something to
Yeah,
the conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. I called the Center for Law and Justice. It's Jay Sekulow's group. And he reviewed with me the Supreme Court ruling that Mary just discussed. And under that ruling, as a county board member, I'm able to stand up. If you call a moment of silence, I can stand up after that and start reading chapters from the Bible if I want, or giving my own invocation. So I can call point of order, and they said if there was a problem that I could file a lawsuit, which I will, and they will represent me for free. Just so you know. So the better idea of this is real simple. Tell all the board members that, can we get some people? Because if you tell one, maybe one person can't get them. If everybody knows to get a pastor or a minister or whatever, and it don't have to be, like Jim said, any faith. But if you don't want to hear the Bible heard in my terrible reading, because I can't see the letters good, you're going to have that, because I will stand up and read for 2 or 3 hours from the Bible. I promise you. And then when you tell me no, I will have my lawyer come and sue.
So, thank you, Steve. Mary, did you?
I don't have anything further, as I said. I mean, I think we could, if you prefer, we can do some more outreach, maybe post on the website that this is available. If you're interested, please notify us, similar to what we do for appointments. And and try to open it up a little more.
Maybe we can get more participation. Ken?
Basically, that's what I'm hearing also. If it's the individual, the number of times they're doing it, or if it's the invocation. Like Jim said, Mary said, and even part of what Steve said, I mean, if we're going to outreach, I'll offer my service to help outreach.
Thank
So,
you. Share that with Lon and Beth, because they have had struggles getting board members to do exactly that. They've reached out and people either don't do it or the person they tried to get does not come. I saw Rachel's hand first and then you.
I just want to know, is there currently, not necessarily in the rules, but a process that we suggest people keep under a certain time limit? Is that something that we...
Or it's usually very brief. Yeah, there's not a time limit because it's very brief. Julie?
Yesterday, I just forwarded a name to Lana and Beth of a pastor who's more than happy to come in as frequently as we need him. He was even available as of yesterday, so
Thank you.
we do have it.
That'll help the process. Lori?
I'm in agreement with Jim. I think we need to get a permanent chaplain. I think maybe that would kind of waylay everything. But as for myself, I did reach out to people. Judy and I,
I know some people have,
it's
but it's
64
very
miles
hard.
round trip for 3 minutes.
Yeah, and
that's
that's an issue
When
for
you're
me,
taking,
the
when you're
distance.
taking them away from their duties as the ministers out by us, because the minister for the church that I go to, that's his full-time job. That's a 2 to 3 hour
Yeah.
for 2
Right.
minutes.
And that's
So-
been consistently an issue for us, Jim and Judy.
I was just gonna say, it doesn't always have to be a minister, you can
It
get
could
a
be a
deacon
deacon, it
to
could be anybody.
come,
Somebody
a lot of
who can
different types of people can come. And quite honestly, you know, if you had a friend that said, I'll come and give an invocation. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody from the church, right? I mean, Herb might have he might have a member of his congregation that gives much better invocations than him.
Judy?
So I was just gonna make a comment. My understanding of how this process worked was we would rotate through the county board and the person would say, hey, Tyler, we're looking at your district today or next month, and you can see if you find somebody. But I was only asked one time, that I've been on the board for 6 years now, and I've only was asked one time to find a member from my area.
Okay, then.
So in my opinion is, that isn't the point. The point is, I'm sure there's other people from my area that might come, but I've never asked again because I was only asked to look for one time. So,
Okay, so regardless of when, so the question though is, do we want to leave it as invocation or invocation and moment of reflection? I'm hearing that there may be some willingness to leave it as invocation with the understanding that we will push for more outreach to get people from a variety of districts, a variety of religions, people who are non-religious to come and speak to the group. Is that true?
I think that's-
Okay,
I'll make a motion for a moment of silence.
we don't have somebody present. And we will pay attention to how often members of our body are the ones doing the speaking. Does that satisfy our concern, Mary?
Absolutely.
All right. So, then what else do we need at this point? We need a motion to leave it as it stands. To remove the proposed change. And you second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.